Hello, friends, and welcome back to 20 Questions With. For those of you who are new here, this is my fun way of introducing you to other costumers by asking them 20 silly questions. Today, we are talking to Miss Amy Coombes of Dressing Miss Dashwood. Welcome to my channel, Amy.
Hey, Noelle.
Amy has, in fact, possibly been on my vlog before because we met up in Bath and that was cool. So there are, I'm sure, glorious musically adapted shots of Amy.
Yes, I think I make a fleeting appearance
Yes.
when I ambushed you at the start of the promenade.
Oh, I was
It's
so
like
excited to see
fangirls.
you. All right, so can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your Instagram and maybe about the pineapples and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so as Noelle said, my Instagram and my Facebook is Dressing Miss Dashwood, and I describe it as the historical fashion adventures of a thoroughly modern woman. I pretty much at the moment solely focus on the Regency era. It's an era of history and fashion and literature that's just really captured my heart for a long time. Of course, love Jane Austen. And a few years ago, I discovered that in Southampton, where I live, we have a Regency dance group, and I started going along. My group is called the Duke of Wellington's Dancers. We're also on Instagram. So yeah, went along, had a go at this dancing, didn't know if I'd be any good at it. Turned out I was pretty all right at it. And costuming was kind of a natural progression from there. And it's something I'd kind of wanted to do for a long time. Anytime I had maybe visited like a stately home before, and there sometimes will have things like parasols or fans for sale in the gift shop, and I'd always longed for a parasol or a fan. And now I have excuses to buy parasols and fans, which is great. So yeah, do my dancing, started costuming, started making my own dresses because it was cheaper. And when I was at one of my first events, actually, I think it was only my second, I met this group of young women who were part of this strange and mysterious society called the Jane Austen Pineapple Appreciation Society. And they were all sort of around my age, all loved Jane Austen, all dressed up. And I just thought, oh my God, these girls are so cool. I want to be one of them. And a few months later, lo and behold, I got sworn in as a pineapple, as we call ourselves. So the Pineapples is really just a friends group of largely, shall we say, like younger reenactors. Well, not even necessarily reenactors, just people that love Jane Austen, enjoy
Costumers.
dressing up. We don't really necessarily worry too much about historical accuracy for pineapple events. It's more about just having fun, doing some silly things. We do different events through the year, including a big week-long house party. We started having a regular summer picnic at Box Hill, a la Emma. And yeah, we just enjoy getting together, dressing up, talking incessantly about what we're working on. And yeah, it's just a really great group to be part of.
It's
And
like my vlog, but there's more people and they're together.
yeah, kind of. And yeah, I just, on my Instagram, I just document the outfits I'm making, the adventures I go on with dance group, the pineapples, things like that. But there's also, for me, developed another side of it, because a lot of my journey into Regency and Jane Austen and costuming came about because of my struggles with my mental health. So actually going to my first dance class was a challenge from my CBT therapist at the time. So for me, my journey with costuming and Regency is just inextricably linked with my journey with my mental health, and it's something really important to my mental health. And so one of the things I do on my Instagram particularly is talk about mental health issues, try and be more vocal about mental health awareness, because I think it's really important to spark those conversations. I share on my stories quite a lot of just little resources and things that I come across and have a highlight for those. And I've had people reach out to me and say, you know, having that highlight there is really helpful for them, because they can, you know, just have a little scroll through and find some things that help them, or an account that's got lots of, you know, useful resources on. And the other thing I'm particularly sort of like to talk about on my account as well is being a plus size costumer, body positivity. So that's you know, another important thing to me. When I first started thinking about costuming, I was a bit worried about it because I am a bigger size lady, and I just thought, I've got the wrong body for this because of my size. And then started coming across images of women from the Regency who looked like me, and was like, oh, okay. And I think we forget that there have always been people of all shapes and sizes. We just don't necessarily see them so much. And again, I've had people reach out to me and say that seeing me as a plus size woman costuming has given them the courage that they've needed to start doing something that they've always wanted to do. So that's, I just think is fantastic as well, that I've been able to help other people start their costuming journeys as well.
Yeah, a lot of the resources that I post about mental health and plus size costuming, I actually get off of Amy's Instagram. So if you're getting it from me, you might be getting it from her. That's the thing about Instagram, is posts are like herpes. They get spread around.
Yeah, we do it. And it's funny because sometimes, like, either like I'll have posted something and then you'll have posted it from me, and then I see it crop up in the stories of like half a dozen other people in the community, and I'm like, oh. But it's nice because it's like getting the word around on issues, or like you'll post something and I'll nick it, and then I see it come up in the stories of, you know, a couple of other people. So it's good in that way.
Yeah. Are you ready to play 20 questions?
Yeah.
Are you nervous?
Well, I mean, the questions are a bit bizarre, but
they're supposed to be.
I know.
Okay. Is a bowl of cereal with milk soup?
No. Absolutely not. It's just not.
Okay. What incredibly common thing have you never done?
This will probably largely only make sense to people from the UK, although I know this restaurant has started cropping up in the US a bit as well, but I've never been to Nando's.
I haven't been to Nando's either, and every time I go, like, I keep saying, okay, I'm going to go to Nando's. Okay, I'm going to try the Nando's, because all of the vloggers that I follow are British, like all of them. And they all go to Nando's constantly. And I'm like, what is it with Nando's? But when I get to England, all my friends there are like, it's no big deal. It's just chicken. And I'm like,
no,
why are they raving about it?
And that's what I think, is I'm just like, but it's just chicken. But
maybe it's really awesome.
It's such a like, I don't know, it's such a thing here. It's such a, like, almost like an institution. And I'm like, I have never been to Nando's, and I'm not that bothered about it, but it is incredibly common in the UK. Like, people go to Nando's all the time.
Speaking of,
I have never been to Nando's.
I have a controversial opinion. Wagamama is mediocre.
Oh yeah, it's all right. It's not that great.
It's not very good. I come from California, where we do fusion like nobody's business, especially Asian fusion. And everybody was like, you got to go to Wagamama. And I went to Wagamama and I was like, eh. Like, compared to California Asian fusion, What weird quirks did you pick up from your parents?
I suppose one thing that is slightly odd that I do because my mum does it, and she does because her mum did it, is ironing tea towels.
Okay.
For like drying up.
Yeah.
And I was like, when I was younger, I asked her, I was like, Mum, why do you iron tea towels? Because you just drying up with them. And my mum hates ironing. And the reason she says she irons them, because her mum did, and it's the reason her mum gave, was her mum thought it sterilised them.
I mean, I guess if you're steaming them pretty hard, yeah. But
But he's just always ironed tea towels, and I kind of picked up the habit from her of like, when I was like a teen and maybe was asked to do a load of ironing as a chore or something, I had to iron the tea towels. So I just
so
kind of
so that reasoning holds if you're like in 1824 and you're not using soap in your wash. But if you use soap in your washing machine, it should not need sanitizing because it's
I know, and I'm sure my mum knows this as well, but it's just
they
one of
are
those things you do.
they
It's
are
quite
nice
nice
when they're
drying
crisp.
up. It is quite satisfying drying up with a nice crisp tea towel.
Yeah.
It feels definitely clean.
Yeah.
So
We have a tea towel rotation at my house that's very amusing because like there's fresh ones and they go under the dishes or to wipe off the dishes. And then there's like a mid-level freshness that have been used to let the dishes dry on, so they're not dirty, they have been wet. Those are used to dry hands. And then when they get grubby and gross, they go on our floor because we have a cat who wants us to like roll out the red carpet so he can sit on, because he doesn't like, we have all tile floors, so he doesn't want to sit on the tiles, so he wants a little carpet to sit on in the kitchen, so he gets to sit on them for a week or so, and then they get moved into the laundry room, and then they get all washed together on sanitize. And then they go back through rotation. It's probably pretty disgusting.
You're gonna start ironing your tea towels now.
No. I iron enough stuff. I'm good.
I avoid ironing as much as possible.
I iron when I sew way more than other people do because my grandma taught me to do that. Like I iron every seam and I iron it flat and then open because that is the proper way to set the threads. So, and man, do I hate it when I've done that and then I have to rip the seam out. But yeah, even on mock-ups, I do that. What is your favorite place?
I am going to say, and it's not a very exciting place, my bed.
Oh, yeah.
Not because of like, sleep or anything like that. It's just always been for me, it's a safe place.
Yep.
So like my bed is like my safe place. It's it's like a place of comfort. So yeah, my bed is like
the nest.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. So yeah, it's not very glamorous or exciting, but my bed, it's my safe place.
I would answer the exact same way.
Yeah.
Like I could even imagine most people saying home, but I'm even more specific than that. Like I'm like,
oh yeah, no,
my
bed. Yeah, bed.
What is your favorite smell and why?
Lavender. Anybody that knows me well will know lavender. I just love lavender, and I didn't always, but like, yeah, I do just love it. It's such a, I just find, I know some people think it's a bit of an old lady scent, but
I don't think it's an old lady scent, but I don't love it either.
Yeah, I just find it, I mean, I do find it like calming and soothing. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
If you could be guaranteed one thing in life besides money, what would it be?
Gosh, these are hard, Noelle.
I know what I think you're going to say. What would make your life so much easier?
I don't know what you're thinking, but I'm starting to think maybe something like to always have a cat. Just like always have at least one cat in my life. I had a lovely rescue cat, Silky, who I rescued as she was quite an old lady when I rescued her. I think she was about 12, and we had 2 lovely years together, and she passed a couple of years ago, and I've been on the search probably for the last year for not a replacement, because you can't replace them, but for a new furry friend, and I've not found one yet, and it's finding the right cat. So always being able to find the right furry friend would be a wonderful guarantee.
All right. I thought you were going to want for mental health.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but
no big
I feel
deal.
like
with the cat
would help with that.
Yeah.
Because when I had Silky, that Like, she always helped boost my mental health, and if I was sad, she would come and snuggle up with me and make me feel better. So
Yeah.
always being able to be guaranteed to find the right cat would be amazing. That would be the best superpower ever.
Yeah. They help me with mental health, and they also cause me issues with my mental health.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
When they're being loons.
Yes. And that's about 50% of the time. If you were the eighth dwarf, what would your name be?
I'm gonna say dorky.
That's a great one.
Because I am just a big dork.
Yeah, I'd probably go with nerdy.
Yeah, dorky, nerdy, anything like that. Geeky. So yeah, things like my job, my day job, I'm an audiologist, it's very sciencey based. So like I've got that side of things. Like some of the things I enjoy, like fantasy novels and Doctor Who and things like that, are all, super nerdy, and I can just be the most socially awkward person in the world. So yeah, I feel dorky is a good dwarf name for me.
What is your most treasured material possession?
There's not many things I wouldn't get over losing, but I suppose probably it's actually three things, but they're kind of like almost like a collection. So I have three books that I've inherited from either side of my family. There's a little book of common prayer, which was my grandmother's, my mum's mum, which was given to her by her sister for, I think, Christmas in like 1944 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's another book of common prayer, a larger one, that is from I can never remember whichever king it was before Queen Victoria. William III, I want to say.
I think that sounds right.
Yeah, it was a William, I think, the third, and that was from someone on my dad's side of the family. And then the oldest one is a tiny, tiny little book of Psalms that is from, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think it's something like 1779.
Mm-hmm.
And it's from like a great, 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 great aunt on my dad's side. And it's got like her name in it and everything. So yeah, those are all books that have been sort of passed to me from various women in different sides of my family. So they're probably the things that I would least like to lose in the world.
That last book is almost as old as my country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll check up on the date at some point, but I think it's something like 1779.
That's pretty. Oh, by the way, in case everyone didn't understand this, Amy's in England.
If the accent didn't give it away.
Yeah.
I am English.
Which is also why it's dark where she is and bright sunshiny where I am.
Yeah. The joys of time differences.
Yeah, although we're slightly closer together right now because you guys did your time shift last week and we haven't done ours. We do ours this weekend. We always wait till right after Halloween.
Yeah, I think it moves around. Sometimes it is the weekend of nearish Halloween. Sometimes it's a bit earlier. And I did see somewhere that next year it's like actually pushing into November.
Yeah, ours is always the first, like it happens on the Sunday. It's always the first Sunday after Halloween. What is your most used emoji?
It's the little monkey that's doing that.
That's amazing. Yeah.
That is for sure my most used emoji. That and the crying laughing one.
Yeah.
And often in conjunction with one another.
Yeah. You send those to me a lot.
It's normally like I've done something daft and I'm telling people that I've done something daft and I'm laughing at myself and going, oh God.
What is the best item that you have purchased during COVID?
What have I purchased during COVID?
Like, I've purchased a couple things that are amazingly useful, and I'm like mad that I didn't have them before this, but I needed them for whatever weird thing I was doing.
Probably the most like used thing is the little tripod that you're on at the moment for my phone.
Yeah.
Because I've had so many Zooms and house parties and Teams and everything.
Yeah.
So definitely that. Oh, well, I didn't technically buy it myself.
That's okay.
But I got a new tablet as well during lockdown. It was technically like a birthday present from my parents, but my dad like transferred me the money for it because they live quite a long way away, so it was easier for me to like order it.
Then you purchased it.
Yeah. So yeah, my new tablet as well, that gets a lot of use for, you know, the Netflix.
Yeah. You're going to sail around the world. What is the name of your boat?
Couple of potential options. So I'm the sort of person that always names my car, and the name of my current car could be a good one, which is Selene, the goddess of the moon. And she had a moon chariot. So I kind of feel like, you know, it's another sort of conveyance. So that could be good. The other possible one for a similar reason is Freya.
Mm-hmm.
Because she had a chariot drawn by cats.
Yeah, I'm fond of Freya.
Cool. So, and I have a group chat with 3 other friends, which we started for just sort of a long time ago, way pre-COVID, but just for sort of general support when all of us were going through some tough times. And we called it our Warrior Women group.
Mm-hmm.
And we all chose a nickname of a different goddess from mythology who has sort of war or being a warrior of some sort as part of her mythology, but not her prime mythology.
Mm-hmm.
And mine was Freya.
Mm-hmm.
So probably Freya.
This is Brunhilde.
Excellent. But yeah, so probably Freya, I think.
All right. Have you read the Iron Druid Chronicles?
No.
You should. I think you'd like them.
Okay.
It's about a druid. He's 2,000 years old, but he encounters and works with many gods and goddesses, and Freya plays a huge part in that. And I think you would like it just because you're, you know, nerdy like me. So I think you would enjoy that book series a lot. And it's 9 books. I think it's either 8 or 9, and that's it. It's like done. So
awesome.
What is your favorite tradition?
They're probably my family's Christmas traditions, just because they're those things that are just they're just home and familiar and our Christmas. So there are always, you know, certain decorations on the tree that are from, you know, when me and my brother were little, and that my parents got when we used to live in Germany, because my dad was in the Air Force, so I was actually born in Germany. So a lot of our family Christmas traditions are actually quite heavily influenced by German Christmas traditions. And then just silly things like Christmas Eve, me and my mum bring all the Christmas presents down to the living room together, and Christmas morning it's my job to kind of divide it all up into little piles for each person. So they're not sort of necessarily big or meaningful traditions, but they're just those little things that are ours and is just homey and cozy.
Yeah. What is your favorite time of day and why?
Sunset, because it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for a gorgeous sunset.
Yeah.
And I'm very lucky with where I live. I actually face out west, and I live very near a river, and I just get the most glorious sunsets over the river and the city skyline beyond. So yeah, I'm very, very blessed with gorgeous sunsets here.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, where I live in a big valley, and it has pretty amazing sunsets. And we keep trying to go over the hill and going to the coast to look at the sunset there, and they actually aren't anywhere as good as in this valley. And I actually think that the like particulate matter from both like condensation of water, but also like smog and whatever, I think that actually makes the sunset better.
Yeah.
And so people keep going, let's go to Santa Cruz and look at the sunset, and I'm like, but the sunset's actually better here. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Would you rather lose all of your money or all of your pictures?
I mean, both can be replaced.
Can they?
Yeah. I mean, like if you lose I suppose there are pictures that I really would be bummed if I lost. I'm gonna have to say my money then, because
Yeah.
there are certain pictures that, like, I'm thinking mainly about like costuming pictures. Oh, I can get more costuming pictures, that's no problem.
Yeah.
There are certain pictures I have that I cannot replace, and actually it's a it's a little bit of an apt question for today in a way. So one of the pictures set of pictures I can't replace of me and a friend, Tasha. She was my best friend at boarding school and beyond. We were at university in different cities, and unfortunately she passed away when she was only 21, and today would actually be her 35th birthday. So there are pictures of the two of us that obviously I just can't replace.
Yeah.
So yeah, have to say lose the money.
Yeah. There's a picture of my great grandmother, my grandmother, my mom, and me all in one picture.
Wow.
And I'm like, half of those people are dead now.
Yeah.
So the money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
You can earn more money.
You can.
What song has the ability to cheer you up?
At the moment, some of my like go-to songs are by the wonderful drag queen Trixie Mattel. So probably something like Malibu from her latest album Barbara is just like a really awesome, happy, beachy, poppy song. And it's a that's kind of been on my kind of summer playlist.
What is your I wish I had started doing this earlier in my life?
Costuming, Jane Austen stuff for sure. Like the years that I've been doing that have been like, while I've still had struggles, they've also been some of the happiest years of my life. I'm just like, oh, why did I not know about this awesome thing sooner? So yeah, definitely costuming.
If you could meet any historical figure and ask them only one question, who would it be and what would you ask?
Oh, this is a tough one. I mean, I think people would probably assume that I'd want to meet Jane Austen, and that would be cool.
But what would you even ask her? Like, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's the one question is the problem.
Yeah.
I'd want to sit down and have like tea with her, even though I don't drink tea. Possibly then actually, so Jane Austen's friend, Martha Lloyd, who lived with them for many years, and I'd ask her what Jane Austen was really like to live with.
That's a solid one.
Get the real lowdown on what Jane Austen was really like.
Getting some tea, as it were.
Absolutely.
If there was a room filled with everything you've ever lost, what item would you be most excited to recover?
It'd probably be all books.
That's fair.
But there are certain books that I like. I say particularly love, like when I was like a teen and young adult, and when I moved to sort of live on my own and start proper like grown-up life, because I only have a studio flat. Space is a premium, and so I gave quite a lot of my book collection away, And there are certain books that I'm now like, I really want to reread that now.
But you could get that. You could get that on Kindle on your tablet with no problem.
I have looked, and there are some of them that are not available.
Oh, that's interesting. But I mean, there's
So,
always used bookstores and stuff. Like you
yeah.
can get those. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I could track them down, but yeah, there are definitely times where I have book giving away regrets.
If you had magic powers, name something you would change.
Something kind of silly, but not, because I know annoys the heck out of me and a lot of women. That middle-aged man that tells you to smile or it might never happen when you're just minding your own business in the shops, because it is just so freaking annoying. So I would remove the ability to tell people to just smile when they are just minding their own business, because it just doesn't need to be said.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
It may seem minor, but I feel like it does actually cause a lot of stress.
Yeah. It's also a hard question because it's like one thing that you would change, and there's so many things you could change.
Oh yeah, I mean there are so many problems in the world that need solving, and I could quite easily like go with a biggie, but
Yeah. All right. This is question number 20. If you could have any artifact, piece of art, or thing from any art gallery, what would you have?
oh, I absolutely know what I would have. It's a statue. They have it at Chatsworth House. It's called the Veiled Vestal. I can't remember who it's by, but it is the most incredible statue, and I am just obsessed with it. Whenever I visit Chatsworth, I stand and stare at that statue for quite a long time. It is just the most beautiful piece of art. I love it. Or anything pre-Raphaelite as well. I'm obsessed with the pre-Raphaelites. So
My husband is also.
if not the Veiled Vestal, because I feel like she would be difficult to find somewhere for in my flat. But
I love how that's your concern. I was like, I want a T-Rex skeleton. I don't care where I have to put that.
but I feel like I could find wall space for a pre-Raphaelite painting.
They're pretty big, actually. Like I went to that exhibit
Yeah.
at the National Gallery, I think. Yeah. There was a
Yeah.
pre-Raphaelite exhibit that I was there last time I was there at Thanksgiving last year. And those paintings, some of those paintings are massive. Like,
Oh yeah, some
yeah.
of them are huge. There's a stately home I was at once, and they had one in several panels. It's basically like the story of Sleeping Beauty, and it's huge. It like all the panels take up basically the whole room.
Yeah, yeah.
But
that was the thing I was like, whoa, too.
A small pre-Raphaelite painting.
Yeah.
A small one.
And the super controversial bonus question. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
I should keep a yes-no counter going during this.
Yeah. I feel like that's also particularly like me saying no is very much from a British sensibility as well, because we have like a sausage sandwich, which is its own thing. And a hot dog is not a sausage sandwich, because a sausage.
But just because it's not one thing doesn't mean it's not in the same category.
No,
a dog is not a cat, but they're both mammals.
Yeah, it's just still not a sandwich.
All right. Thank you for joining me today, Amy, and thank you to everyone out there for joining both of us. I will leave a list of Amy's accounts down below so you can go check her out and show her some love. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below about what you guys are up to, and I'll see you soon with another video. Bye, guys.